The Oklahoma City Thunder just had an insane season, but yet the media is already starting to doubt them for next season, speculating that the Thunder might not have as much success as they did this year, saying that it might be a fluke and they just had an insane amount of luck on their side, and that is when their luck ran out in the second round. And personally, as a Thunder fan, I'm not going to take this. I'm not going to take this level of disrespect that people have been putting out there already, saying, I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were next year. When we had a bunch of second and third year players on our team, even rookies contributing, and a 25-year-old MVP candidate on our team, and they're only going to get better each and each year. Before we get into this video, though, I just want to take a moment and say, if you find yourself coming back on a regular basis and you want to stay up to date on a new Oklahoma City Thunder video, because we drop daily OKC videos here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel, and it's the best way to stay up to date when a new video drops here on Thunder Digest. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into talking about what the media had to say. Now, we already know. We were being doubted the entirety of the season. There are a bunch of media guys out there, Kendrick Perkins, along those lines, saying, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're having a great start. They're eventually going to collapse. And then saying we are the weakest one seed to ever exist. The weakest one seed ever. That is insane. A 57-win team that are a bunch of second, third, and rookie and first-year players on the team. That is insane. You're going to say that about us. And there was an article posted on Sports Illustrated I found the other day that kind of is backing up the Thunder. And it's someone that writes for the Thunder as well that was made this article. He was backing them up, but also brought some points to our attention saying, I don't know if they're going to have as much success at the end of the year, because in the article, he said it's going to take even more luck next year for us to have the kind of season we did this year, which I think is insane. Yes, we had a good amount of luck on our side. Yes, we got lucky that we fell to the one seed because we all had the same record and we just beat them in the head-to-heads. However, we're going to be older and more mature and have playoff experience going into next season, which changes a team entirely. So we're going to go ahead, look at the article here, go ahead and bring to your attention what they have here. This is what the article says. I only have 2 slides here, and then I'm going to show you some stats. So, it was a shock to many that Oklahoma City could already shape itself into a championship contender so early into the rebuild, centered around the trio of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. But sometimes the timeline progresses faster than anyone can see coming. The expectation of championships in the next couple of seasons is already a realistic one, even with the relative lack of deep playoff experience and most of the roster possesses. However, the Thunder still has to prove it can replicate what it displayed last season, not to mention building on top of that. Oklahoma City has only gotten the first stage of its new quest. Sure, the last campaign was filled with success and revitalized the direction of the franchise, but it doesn't want to be its lasting legacy. It wants to be even better next year, make it further in the playoffs, and yes, win the NBA Finals. So there is just kind of hyping us up there, saying that we have to rebuild on what we had this year, because we do. I'm not saying we need to be a 57-win team again. It'd be nice. I think we have the potential to be a 60-win team. Even getting like 52, I consider that excess, and we built off of what we did last season, because the West, every single year, it's just going to get tougher and tougher. Every single year, each team in the West is going to get better. That is a known fact. The West is the toughest conference out there right now. However, I don't want to say whoever wrote this started going into and kind of not necessarily bashing him. It was just at the end of the article that I left off, because it was just one little piece where he says we just need an insane amount of luck next season, which I don't think so. I think we're going to have experience and be more mature, and a bunch of our players entering the prime of their career and starting to enter that prime, and it's not going to be luck. It's just going to be pure skill. So going to what else he had to say here, this bit is a little bit of a longer one. Getting back to the point isn't so simple either. Each season has a specialist to it that won't play out the same way in any other form, from other team personnel to injuries. The Thunder roster could be shaken up, though, through the draft and free agency, which will create a different dynamic that has to be integrated into the system and team environment. The latter in the West is inevitably going to flip-flop, no matter if the Oklahoma City roster can improve or remain much the same. Just like it made a gigantic jump last season, other teams will likely do the same, while others fall down the pecking order. Staying on top in 2 consecutive seasons is highly difficult to do so, as the Golden State Warriors were the last team to do it in the conference between 2014 to 2016. The Thunder not retaining the number 1 seed doesn't necessarily mean it wouldn't have further playoff success, though. The Mavericks made it to this year's final as they're a number 5 seed. This says 4. And plenty of teams in the past have done the same thing. But it's still going to be more difficult to do, and only time will tell if it's capable of making it deeper. This is where I kind of see a little, like, in my eyes, all right, as a diehard Thunder fan who grew up with this team. I grew up, the Thunder came to OKC in 2008. I was born in 2003. I was 5 years old, finally getting into basketball when the Thunder came here, and they're the reason I love the game of basketball. So seeing someone saying, oh, man, I don't know if they're going to have the same amount of playoff success as someone that writes for the Thunder saying, I don't know, maybe they're not going to make it as far. Maybe they get eliminated in the first round. That's what I'm kind of getting from this. As a diehard fan, someone that's been following this team for my entire life now, I feel disrespected by that. That makes it seem like this year was a fluke and we're going to drop down and be a 5 or 6 seed and get eliminated in the first round. That's what that article is making it seem like to me. How he's saying, oh, you guys might win 50 games, finish as a 5 seed, but you guys won't make it past the first round. Are you kidding me? Did you not see what our players did this year? I'm going to show you the stats of what our guys did this year. First, our MVP candidate, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. 30 points per game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, almost a block a game, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, 2 fouls a game, 2.5 fouls a game, 53% from the field, and 35% from behind the arc. He's 6'6". He's about to be 26 years old. He's entering the prime of his career, and these are numbers that he was putting up going into it. He's about to hit his prime. He could average 35 a game. All right, I feel like he has a potential to do that. James Harden type numbers when he was winning MVP there. He shoots 50% on corner threes, 36% of his threes are assisted, and 18% of all of his shots are threes. We know he's a mid-range guy. He's a mid-range demon. All right, let's look into another one of our guys. All right, let's look into another one of our guys. Why is my thing not working here? Oh, no, guys. There we go. Chet Holmgren. Boom. Sorry, I got mixed up there. I forget what my buttons are in here sometimes. 16.5 points per game for Chet in his rookie season, 8 rebounds a game, 2 assists, 2 blocks, half a steal, less than 2 turnovers, 2.4 fouls a game, 53% from the field, and 37% from behind the arc. He's 7'1", 22 years old, shoots 32% on corner threes, 97% of his threes are assisted, and 36% of all his shots are threes. He's a dog. He's a player. All right, now we're going to go in and get into our actual dog of the team, Jalen Williams. J-Dub, 19 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, half a block a game, steal a game. Oh my God, voice crack there. That's how passionate I am. My voice is dying from this video. 1.7 turnovers per game, 2.5 fouls per game, 54% from the field, and 42% from behind the arc. He's 6'5", 23 years old, 52. He shot 52% on corner threes, 74% of his threes are assisted, and 24% of all his shots are threes. We know he's a guy that's going to drive and go for the mid-range as well, along with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander there. So we have dogs on this team. We have a clear-cut trio that we are building around, and we will only get better with this offseason because of what we have in cap space and all the draft capital we have to trade for someone to come in the starting lineup or to bolster up the bench. So seeing this article talk about how, there's a lot of luck that went into this season, I don't know if they can replicate it again next year, that feels like a slap to the face in my opinion. That feels like a slap to the face, thinking we're not going to be just as good. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Our average age of the roster was younger than 24 years old, and we were the 1 seed with 57 wins. That's the 3rd best record that we've had in the history of the Oklahoma City Thunder, having 57 wins. And you're telling me we can't replicate that next season when we're just going to add on to this team, and we have guys that actually have playoff experience now that can get us to the finals. That has a more experience in the league now, bulking up. We have guys that progressively got better throughout the season because they're getting used to the league. Cason Wallace is a great example of that. Not a lot of people had a lot of faith in him coming in here. Well, everyone thought he'd be a guy that gets 10 minutes a game and might get traded in a year or two. He is shaping up to be one of the best perimeter defenders in the league with how young he is. He is looking like a 2.0 version of Lou Dort. He could be one of the NBA's top-tier defenders if he wants to. I see a few all defensive team selections for him in the future once he gets older and can be a starter on some teams. It's just, you look at it. Our guys have gotten nothing but experience and have gotten nothing but better since coming to OKC. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, J. Will, J. Dub, Chet, Lou, even Giddey's gotten better. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went from a guy in Los Angeles who was going to be a third option for the entirety of his career, came here and is an MVP candidate. So you're telling me we can't replicate the success we had last year? I think that's a load of bull. I'm going to be honest. I don't see it. What he wrote in that article saying that we had a bunch of luck and it's going to be very difficult for us to replicate the success we had this season, making it seem like we get 50 wins. Come on now. We all know this team is another 55-win team because even if we don't lose anyone, we get experience. It's the same team then. It's the same team. Even if we don't trade or make any big signings, it's the same team we had last season. You telling me that team can't succeed again? This is where I'm confused by that article, and it drives me nuts that he said we won't replicate what we had when we had the potential to have the same team again. That makes no sense to me. How can you have the same team and not have the same success next season? With an MVP candidate on your team, one of the best second options in the league, one of the league's already best rim protectors in Chet Holmgren, who's only going to get bigger. All right? He knows he needs to put on weight. He knows that. We know what our weaknesses are as players, and they're already capitalizing and improving on them. I got to stop before I get insane on this video. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree with this guy, let me know why when he wrote an article. Or let me know, am I just overreacting? All right? Am I just overreacting? Because just to me, it seems like he was dogging on the Thunder, saying we're not going to be as good next year. That's all I got for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.